Hello, welcome to the Mayor Best Friends YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Alright, today we're going to go ahead and talk about the GTL, or the Global Trade Link. Alright, and to my left is a world-renowned GTL flipper, Yedodai. Would you like to say hello?
Hello.
Great, great. Alright, and Yedo's success story is quite a good one, and this success story is actually one of the reasons why he's in this Mayorial Council. Yedo started with just a small sum of money in-game, and he eventually looked on the Global Trade Link, and he started to get really good at the GTL, and he started flipping things. And what I mean by flip, I mean basically buying something and then selling it for a higher price. Yedo has a very common saying. His saying is, buy low, sell high. And, you know, it's kind of similar to the stock market, except GTL is a little less risky, but it still involves some risk, and you have to be very, very careful. We're going to get to that in a moment. Let's go ahead and talk about the 6 points here as to how you can eventually become a GTL expert. So we are back, and I just want to say that we're going to go ahead and talk about 6 ways you can actually make money on GTL, or 6 tactics, and we just want to emphasize this. GTL is a very risky activity, and the Mayorial Council does not take any responsibility for any misfortunes that may happen to you while engaging in this activity. This activity is quite risky, and depending on the Pokemon that you buy and depending on the tactic that you employ is going to dictate the amount of risk that you're going to have on the Global Trade Link. I think that's fair to say, right, Yedo?
Yeah, you're correct in that. That sums it up pretty much.
Yes. And we're going to go ahead and discuss some tactics here. Alright, look for underappreciated Pokemon and items. And how do you do that? Well, we're going to go ahead and give you a basic explanation on this. So here's what you do. You do this. You refresh the page constantly. You refresh the page often. Check the Pokemon fast so you can get them at low prices. Try to flip them to make money. This is called sniping. You will have quite a bit of competition because GTL is an easy and popular way to make money on PokeMMO. So in other words, do this, and you gotta do it really fast. You gotta do it really fast. You gotta you know, do it as fast as you see it here on screen. You gotta do it fast. If you don't do it fast, then someone's gonna take the deal. So, for instance, alright, so let's go and look at the Snorlax, see if we can flip this. No, I don't think we can flip it. Remember, your fee is 1.5k, and Yedo has the fee calculations by memory, so I'm going to let Yedo talk about the fees while I keep refreshing the GTL page.
Well, if you want to sell a Pokemon below 30k, it's 1.5k of a fee. Anywhere between 30 and 500k, it's 5% of the price you put it up for. Of 500k, it's 25k flat.
GTL can be a bit risky, and you can lose money. Evaluation is a learning curve, and Yedodai recommends for you to look at evaluations of other Pokemon before you start making money on GTL. So basically, if you don't know the valuation of a Swablu, then it's best to take a look at the Swablu selection. So Swablu, for example, and you got to look to see how much Swablu is going for generally on GTL. Swablu is generally going for 1.7k. So there you go. So yeah, so you look at the lowest price, and then you know this. You have to keep doing this, and you got to keep checking right away. The Global Trade Link is a very fast activity, very, very fast. You got to be very fast at the keyboard, but it will pay off in the end once you hone those skills. So, Yedo, how do you evaluate Pokemon? Do you just check Pokemon and individually, or how do you do it?
Well, in general, I just refresh and check the Pokemon that is roughly around a couple of Ks. see what the IVs are, and if it's nothing, I will just refresh again. And most of the time, I'll just pick the first option to choose from because that one is the newest, and there's the least amount of people have seen that one. And then I check the IVs. If they are good, I'll buy it. If they aren't, I'll just continue with what I was doing.
Right, right, and you got to check these Pokemon fast. So, for example, you know, when you see a Pokemon pop up on your screen, you have to you have to do it right away. You have to do it like I'm going to go ahead and show you the type of speed you have to do. So you got to do this right away. You got to do that. All right. So you got to do that, and actually this is a really good transition. I'm going to tell you why I bought it. The reason why I bought this Rhyhorn is because I want to show you something. If I evolve this Rhyhorn into a Rhydon, then take a look at the price point. And the reason why I know about Rhydon is because I've been taking a look, and this is kind of my tactic of how I make money. So what I do is that I look for the Pokemon's evolution line, and then I look at Rhyhorn and I say, hey, you know, that's 45k. I can easily evolve this, and then I can put it up for a little less than 45k, and I made my money. And I, at the time I'm done filming this, there's a likelihood that the Rhydon market is probably going to get flooded, but I think that's a fair likelihood to say, right? Right, Yeto?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate because people do what another person shows.
Right, right. So yeah, I mean, on your own time, check to see what Pokemon market is not flooded yet. So that way, so say you have the opportunity to flip a Pokemon, and this is how I make my in-game money. If I'm not leveling a Pokemon, what I would do is I would immediately take a Pokemon and then I would just start leveling it. My method's a little less risky, but it still involves some risk because I've had, you know, I actually have 2 Pokemon on my main that are currently not sold yet. So that is a Nidoqueen and a Mightyena. So sometimes it may not work. As for item flipping on GTL, Yetodai would check to see if the item is less than you can get it for, and he will usually flip it with a 20 to 100% profit gain, depending on how fast the item could sell for. So in other words, in the item selection, if the Eviolite is a lot less than you can get it, so let's go ahead and type in Eviolite. Eviolite. Yeah, it's you know, that's not a very good profit margin. For example, you might even lose a bit of some money for that, but yeah, so Yetodai, he's really good at looking at certain items and really determining if they're worth flipping. So, you know, so how fast do you have to be with the mouse clicking and the eye coordination as far as IVs are concerned? How fast do you have to be?
Probably below 2 seconds.
Yeah, so it takes a lot. You got to train a lot, but if once you hone down the skill, there's a likelihood you're going to be very successful, but there's also going to be a likelihood that you're going to be broke, depending on what tactic you use. You got to use a tactic that is best tailored to your money-making method. It's actually similar to the stock market, actually. The stock market in real life, and the stock market, there's some stocks in the stock market that are good for long term, and there's some stocks that are good for short term. And you know, you have to invest in something that really fits your lifestyle, and that's kind of similar to GTL. You gotta do that. The main guiding factor with GTL is experience. Over time, you will eventually garner more of an aptitude towards this money-making activity. So just train yourself to just immediately look like this. You got to do this. All right. So if you're look, all right. So there you go. Yeah. So you buy that immediately. Get that before someone else does, and then don't immediately research the valuations. And this is called a snipe. So in other words, I got 28 speed, 30 special defense, 28 defense, 22 attack, and it looks kind of good. It's a Rattata female. and it is a quiet nature, so it's kind of decent. But it's good for it's good for someone who's trying to breed off a Pokemon. So there you go. So it takes a lot of eye coordination. It takes a lot of finger and eye coordination. But once you hone it down, you can essentially do this all day. But again, this does involve risk. And with that, I'm going to have to emphasize again, GTL is a very, very risky activity, and you can lose money on this activity. The Mayorial Council does not take any responsibility for any misfortunes that may happen to you while engaging in this activity. Alright, anyways, thank you so much for watching. Let's go and sign off here because we don't have time to go back to the studio. Yeto has to make it for a tournament. Yeto is a world-renowned GTL expert, so there you go. I'm so glad to have Yeto's time. Thank you very much, Yeto.
Yeah, no problem, dude. Anytime.
Anyways, this is the Mayor Best Friends YouTube channel. Don't forget to comment or subscribe to my channel, like or dislike the content that you see here. And this is the Mayor Best Friends YouTube channel signing off. PokeMMO Mayor at your service.